Green Eggs and Ham gifted 10 Philly 500 memberships. Thank you so much for your support. And welcome to Dingbat Nation to everybody who got it. Minute 40 left. Tight formation. Hurts back to pass. Looking. He's got A.J. Brown. Caught. A.J. Brown. Touchdown! That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the truffle shuffle's coming out. White rerun. Boom! Kicking this team's ass. Tried to tell these people. I tried to tell people. Eagles are going to kick their ass. Let's go. Damn right.
Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here on Super Bowl Sunday, and we...
Mac?
Name me one. Yeah, I was thinking about this yesterday, Kevin, and I can't think of a headline. I can't think of, we're almost at 4 months in, right? We're almost at April. And I went back to January 1. Think about how negative it's all been.
Yeah.
And I, you know, God bless the Cowboys. I know you guys are the flagship. They let you guys say whatever you want to say. For my 3 years there's only one time, Sean, that they said, yeah, don't ask that question. Everything else, it's been fair game.
Yeah.
Not everybody does that. We saw with the Washington Commanders.
Yes.
Their flagship station saying, oh, thank God we can talk about the Commanders now. no longer affiliated with them.
Right.
So, but I looked at really, when I looked at just like a day-by-day timeline, you know, they beat the Eagles on January 8th. They lost 2 out of their 3 games, right? They blamed the officials for basically 2 of the 3 losses, which is terrible. Dak Prescott sits there and endorses fans throwing junk at officials after the San Francisco game. He has to come out and apologize. You've got a PR director who retires. No big deal. 2 weeks later, there's this horrible story about him being accused of voyeurism, which he denied.
Yep.
But the Cowboys have to throw a $2.5 million check at 4 cheerleaders. Dak Prescott has another surgery. The Cowboys trade a wide receiver that they used the number 1 pick on back in 2018 in exchange for a 5th. Because the coaching staff doesn't like him, right? Then they give all this money to a guy who tore his ACL on January 2nd. Michael Gallup's not going to be ready for camp, right? Tank Lawrence is their best pass rusher. He comes back, that's a highlight. Jerry Jones gets named in a, Springer-like lawsuit. Randy Gregory, whom the Cowboys stuck by despite the fact that he had done nothing for them for years, gives them the middle finger, right, on a flip. Then they've got to cut Lyle Collins because the coaching staff didn't like him. But they kept their punter.
Mac, why is Stephen Jones the Alan Greenspan of the NFL?
That's a great one-liner, by the way.
Thank you very much. Because it's so, we see all these teams talk about, we're in cap hell. And then they go out and they trade for Tyreek Hill, or they make these giant moves and add this big contract. I know the salary cap is a real thing. And, I've talked to Stephen Jones, whom I like a lot, and he has come to admit and embrace the idea, if you're going into free agency, that means you're overspending on that player because you made a big mistake 2 or 3 years ago. Okay, that's fine. That's sound philosophy.
Yeah.
And are you getting any better? The Dallas Cowboys today on March 25th, are they any better today, Sean?
No
than
way.
They were on. Okay.
And no one, not even the biggest Homer fan. I mean, not even Mickey Spagnuolo would make that kid. Mickey might. Mickey might, but
he'd try.
Yeah, he would try. But I don't think anyone would say that. They all say it's early. It's early.
Oh, I know. And are they going to? There's nobody left that they're going to get off the street that's going to make him any better. The only thing that's going to make him any better, they think Dak Prescott is as good as Aaron Rodgers, that they can put pretty good players around him and he'll make them great, and they'll win 10 or 11, 12 games. And the NFC East still is garbage.
Yes. And the NFC.
Yeah. It absolutely baffles me just how bad this division remains. And if you're like, well, where's our
Mac, the greatest stat right now in sports, the most embarrassing, 17 straight years without a back-to-back division winner in that division.
There you go.
That
was it. There you go. And so, do you think the Cowboys are going to break that streak? Yeah, they might. No, seriously, who's better than them, right? Who could unseat them?
Right.
The Eagles?
The Giants are the one team to me, Mac, that does give me.
Well, good evening, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Don't forget about BetUS, who has sponsored this video. Shout out to BetUS. I know the football season is over, but that doesn't mean that the betting is over. We've got basketball, we got hockey, we got USFL coming at the end of March. So remember, use the promo code YouTube150 so you can get 150% matching on your first 3 deposits. And if you use crypto, 200%. So make sure you bet responsibly by not betting on the Cowboys. Although the Cowboys plus 6,000 odds to make it to the Super Bowl. Shout out to BetUS. What's up, good people? This is hard. This is hard because the trolls are living their best life right now at my expense. I'm looking over here on Joe Boo's Cowboy Joe Boo, and I see somebody I've never seen before, Hugh Johnson, Mr. Johnson, and he's like a Johnson. Is this the guy who makes all these excuses for Dak? Mark, do you realize Allen and Jaden don't have a number 1 wide receiver and made it further than Dak? Why wouldn't you admit that Dak choked away our best opportunities? Now it's too late. Let me guess, this stream will be more Jerry blame. Meanwhile, Dak gets paid the most, and we're watching different NFC quarterbacks getting to Super Bowls. And then we got Blue Star. Hey, Mark, wait until the Commanders make a Super Bowl appearance.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Okay, so it's been that kind of day. Momo's in the house saying, what did I miss? Jeff Lee in the house. Marcus Blackman. Vinny Hagan, what's up? Jeremy Hogue. Jacob. Mark needs an In-N-Out burger. Oh, no, the things are bad enough now. I don't need an In-N-Out burger. Dwayne Sweeney. The Realist Fan. R. Lomax. Eddie, I want to talk to you, Eddie. Jeff Lee. Boobies are about the only thing that might cheer us up. Rusty Bourne. YouTube, and let's see, Alan Williams, Dwayne Sweeney, Jeff Lee. Where are all the ladies? Alan, don't tell me. Wait, hold up. Has it gotten that bad that all the ladies have abandoned me? No! Has it gotten to be that bad? Walker Wade. What's up, Walker? Wade. Are we stick a fork in time? Is it over? Do we have no hope? Should we just go ahead and start talking about 2027 right now? That's not Wade. He's not an Eagle fan. Do we need to just go ahead and avoid just talking about 2026 right now? Eagles are super... Oh, God. Nico and Steven. Okay. They've raided the ladies. They came through. They plundered, and they took all the ladies. They took all our alcohol. They took all our food. Yes, it's over, Mark. Oh, my God. Well, here's the good news. The good news is, right now, everybody is 0-0. We're all starting all over. And as we know, things can change quickly. Not quick enough. Things can change quickly. And we've been stuck here for 30 years. I don't even know. You know, I don't want to be here. I just don't want to be here right now. I'm at the point where I just need to shut my channel down because the comment. Although I will say, I got this long email from an Eagle fan who is actually, offering a peace offering and things. He's an older guy like me, and just wants to talk Cowboys and Eagles, and give me a little of the history of why the Eagles hate us so much and things. And there are a few, and I have a bunch of Eagle fans that are like, why don't you just come on over and become an Eagle fan, Mark? You seem to be a decent dude. Quit that zero and get with the hero. I have to, I don't know where this show's going to go tonight, because this might be a pity party. I'm like you, Derek Young. I want to throw up. Living around Eagles fans makes me sick. A year make a difference. Yeah, well, did anyone think that Mahomes choked? No, but you know what, Glibberman? Here's what I actually find funny, is his offensive line couldn't block for him. His wide receivers couldn't get separation. His running backs couldn't run the football, and they just say, oh, his running backs couldn't run the football, his receivers couldn't get open, his offensive line couldn't block for him. Of course he couldn't do anything. It's like, welcome to the Dak Prescott playoff era, because that's how it always is every year. Walker Wade, gonna find out in 4 weeks if they should give up. 4 weeks. Here's what's crazy. Shout out to Walker Wade. We don't always agree, but he is my boy. Row 504, it has been rough, and you're 100% right. Terry McLaurin is Jalen Daniels' #1 wide receiver. Yeah, scary Terry. The Chiefs didn't even try to run the football. They did, but you know what? Hats off to the Eagles, because the Eagles, man, they were a bunch of crazed dogs out there, man, crazed wolves. They did not let them breathe. And I think they literally had the Chiefs scared. I don't know what the hell happened, but they kicked that ass. They just like, God. Just like Leo said, man, they were the goon squad, man. They came in there and they punked them. They just literally just pounded them in submission. And I have not seen teams do that in a long time. That was almost like an old school ass whipping. Chiefs got mollywopped. They opened up a fresh keg of ass whipping. We won fair and square. The Eagles defense had Patrick Mahomes scrambling like 2. I mean, Pat Mahomes throwing pick sixes? Getting sacked, 7, 8 times? Patrick needed that Jake from the State Farm Protection. He needed the Southwest commercial. Want to get away? Second and third. I mean, here's where you feel bad as a Cowboy fan. I almost feel like the Eagles, would it surprise anybody if Myles Garrett ended up on the Eagles this year? Would it surprise anybody that the Eagles would get Myles Garrett? It wouldn't surprise me any. Because, see, that's a team that looks and says, how can we get the best talent? Now, you guys can all talk about Hurts is the greatest quarterback, since Joe Montana and everything, and that's fine. That's fine. You can say that. I'm going to say that he had everything. He has everything. That's not to take anything away from him, because, I mean, I couldn't go out there with his team and win a Super Bowl. I can't do it. I mean, no. You still got to be good, too. But you got 2 outstanding receivers. You got a really good tight end. You got the best offensive line in football that are mauling people. You got the best running back. And you got a defense that got pick sixes and takeaways and literally smothered the other team. When you have all of those things, it's a little easier. And see, on their defense, it's not just one guy. It's not just having Micah Parsons. They're good across the board right now. They are good across the board. They remind me of the 90s Cowboys teams. I hate to say that, but think about where we were with the 90s Cowboys. Where did we have a weakness in the 90s Cowboys? We weren't talking about, we don't have a number 2 wide receiver. We had guys like Alvin Harper, who, because everything else was there, was incredible because he was getting one-on-one coverage. Because you had to worry about stopping Emmitt Smith behind that all-world offensive line. When you have all those pieces, it's a little easier. It's a little easier when you have all those pieces. When you don't, it's kind of like when Peyton Manning, early in his career, couldn't get over the hump against New England until this defense came up and started matching them in intensity as the offense. We wake up this morning, and I'm going to say I did not sleep well last night, man. I did not sleep well last night. Y'all know how Leo's got the Eagle train with the green smoke locomotive that's behind him and the live streams. And we've got train tracks. This is historic railroads that are here in Waynesboro. The Afton Mountain Tunnel, which was a mile long, built in 1868 or 1870, was the longest tunnel in that time that allowed them to be able to bring the railroad right on into the valley and things. That same area, same tracks is right over there behind me. And I can usually kind of hear the trains, but I more feel the little vibration. And I got to tell you, that little vibration, you're laying in bed, you get that little, it's not like, not that kind of, it's not like my cousin Vinny where he's trying to sleep in the train. No, it's not like that at all. But you get that little slight vibration. Logan Motorsport, the ladies, they gave up on me. They've been bad. Lady Libra is always the first one here. And Lady Libra is usually on both channels. There's usually Angelica Barone in here with the puppies. There's usually Roland's Review. There's usually, Casey Stewart. There's usually Lola, Miss Hot Sauce. There's Stacy. Why? I don't know where they all are. They've abandoned us. I guess they looked at us and said, y'all are losers. We ain't sticking with no losers. I can't believe this might be the first time that I don't ever, if I don't see a lady, if I don't see one of the lovely ladies in the place of the style and grace, I may just have to shut my channel down. It's without the ladies in here to cheer me up. It's just time to end it all, man. Seriously, if y'all please somebody tell me that the ladies are here somewhere, because I don't understand it. Logan, I don't understand it, man. Oh, thank you, God. Whew. Oh, there's one. Thank you.
Oh, yes, it's ladies' night. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night.
I was going to say that it's bad enough that the Eagles won the Super Bowl, that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones are jackasses and not doing anything to do anything, that the Mavericks traded away, Luka. But I always thought that at least my safe space was here, that we at least would always have the lovely ladies. And here it is. We're 20 minutes in. And finally, I was just like, I'm getting scared. I was literally like, there's no point in having the YouTube channel if the lovely ladies aren't here. So, Gina, you saved the channel, at least for the moment. Brad Wright, hello, Mark. Did you know that Jalen Hurts has a ring? Oh, God. Yo, Mark, I might be an Eagle fan, but I'm here. Nico and the Mouse. So we wake up this morning, and about 3 o'clock, I was asleep, and I was having a dream or a nightmare. And it was one of the, has anybody ever had where you left the TV? You've left the TV on and some crazy movie is on in the middle of the night, and that movie infiltrates your dreams. Somehow I was looking at Leo's train, that Eagles green train, and he was sitting on top of the damn thing because and I woke up like, ah! And then there was the train going down the tracks, and it's like the train was going faster than they usually did. It almost sounded like I thought it derailed. It was little. I was like, I don't usually hear the damn train. And it was a dream or a nightmare with Leo sitting on top of a damn Eagles train, just hauling ass down the tracks. Of course, Gina, you know, it's all about the ladies. Shout out to you. So it started out rough, and then all of these Eagle fans that have literally descended upon the channel that are telling me that I'm everything but a child of God. Dak Prescott sucks. Jalen Hurts has got a ring. That Kenny Pickett's got a ring. You know, that everybody's got rings, but Dak Prescott, Jerry Jones is old and ugly and looks like Skeletor. It's just been hard, man. It's been you know what? What's even worse is Leo keeps texting me all day. This jacket, he keeps sending me, oh, look, I had to do the whatever podcast and stuff. Here's a copy of it for you. You know, Philly 500 email, sending me messages and telling me, address me, Super Bowl champion. It is just like literally hell. Leo, I don't know if you heard what I was telling everybody about your Eagle train. That literally I woke up in the middle of the night where you were on top of your Eagle train that you have in the live stream. And at the same time, it sounded like the train was going down the track was derailing because it was loud as shit. And I'm waking up like, it's Leo on his fucking train and shit, right? I got my friend Allie. She's sending me messages first thing in the morning. Fly, Eagles, fly. And I sent a picture where I'm hiding under the cover. I said, I'm hiding. She said, oh, don't worry. She said, you don't have to hide. We'll give you some brotherly love. And I was like, I don't think I want none of that brotherly love that you talking about. Geno Smith's time is next. Geno Smith. Congratulations, Leo. So, looks like when I did finally get up, we got C.D. Lamb's tweet where he's literally like, ain't y'all sick of this bullshit? Ain't you sick of the same stuff? And he was retweeting the Cowboys have had internal conversations about trading Micah Parsons.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
We ain't changing shit. We are doing, just like my opening, the same shit. You know what's funny is when the Eagles have a great player, I don't ever remember hearing discussions on whether they should keep him or not. They make the move. And I don't ever hear from the Eagles and Howie Roseman. First of all, I don't hear weekly shows from Howie Roseman. Especially not 2 from him and 2 from the owner's son and 2 from the owner. I don't hear it. There's oh my God, I've been saved. Casey Stewart.
Oh yes, it's ladies' night. Oh what a night. Oh what a night.
I thought I hit rock bottom because I was like, the Cowboys suck. I can take that. Eagles are Super Bowl champions. I can take that. We got 8 to 12 inches of snow headed here starting tomorrow with ice on top of it. I can take that. But then it appeared that all of the ladies had abandoned us. Usually I come in here and it's depressing news, but I'll see Lady Libra right there and stuff and things. And then it's like, okay, the ladies are here. The ladies are here. And nothing till Gina showed up 20 minutes into the show. So thank you, Casey. You've given me a reason to live. Mean Metal. Dallas needs a Howie Roseman type of leadership. 30 years of mediocre football. My Steelers are riding into the sunset with no future. Also, I get it being in the gutter. That's the thing that drives you crazy. I'm so sick of Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones Jr. Only Joneses I like is Charlotte. That's what drives you crazy is, does anybody out there feel like that the Cowboys, after seeing the Eagles win, that now it's like, oh, wow, that shit just got real and we got to do something different? Does anybody out there feel that way? When we wake up this morning and we hear about, the internal discussions of Micah Parsons being traded. Stacy White. The lady of saving me. Thank you, ladies. You see, that's all I live for. It's all I live for. It's all I got. Howie wouldn't succeed with the Cowboys because he would be limited. And you know what? The real fan won. You're right. We don't do shit. I still feel we're healthy and we'll get back to our winning ways. But here's the problem, Marcus. It's like, Stephen Jones, here's the thing that we look at, yes, the Eagles, they won the Super Bowl this year, and yes, they were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and yes, they won the Super Bowl in 2017. We look at that and say, yeah, they won the Super Bowl in, 8 years apart, and they got 2, and they've been in 4 this century. But, we've been watching the Eagles and seeing the things that they do. And, they go out here in free agency and they end up getting a guy like an A.J. Brown. And the reason is because, when we drafted C.D. Lamb, they got guys like Ragar. And so, they screwed the pooch in their drafting of wide receivers. They had that guy, Charlie Dakota Whiteside, that they drafted in the 2nd round. And so it forced them to go out there and trade a number 1 pick to get A.J. Brown to fill in the holes. And then they had to turn around and pay that guy, $28 million a year, $30 million a year? So we look at that and say, that's not sustainable. How can you go ahead and keep doing that? You messed up in the draft with a couple of guys, and then you had to spend money and draft picks and things. And yeah, sure, it led to a Super Bowl, but, we don't believe in doing things that way. Winning that way just doesn't work for us because at some point, the bills are going to come due, and they're just going to have to gut the team. And, maybe they win 4 or 5 Super Bowls before that time, but there will be a day that all those contracts that they put off in the future, that they're going to come due, and it's going to screw them over. And hopefully before that time, if you guys trust the process and we go through and we sign the CDs and the Dax and the Micah Parsons, we'll win ourselves some division races, every couple of years, and we'll win a lot of games, and I'll make a boatload of money. And in the end, that's what it's all really about, is not spending that money because, we just like to not spend money. And that's the philosophy of it. I'm sitting here thinking in my mind, much respect to Mark as an Eagle fan. Shout out to you, Kevin Embry. Jerry busting those nuts in 98 love child curse. What's up? I love weed. Oh my God. So I love weed. I still have this, right? I still have this, right? That's from you. And I have something that's a gift. Okay, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. But Leo said, he showed us, he's got a football helmet that's a pipe for his weed. He got a cowboy one he's going to send to me. So I'm going to put that cowboy one over here. And if you ever make it to the Red Brick House, you'll be the one to break that thing in. Leo Bridgewater, I watched the game today. I didn't watch it live. I wasn't impressed with Hurts. He's an average quarterback, but a great running back. Defense won that game. Somebody on the defense I thought the defense should have actually gotten the MVP. It would have been kind of cool for them to say the whole Eagles defense was MVP. which would be very, very unique. This was Cohorts. You didn't throw anything about, about eating squirrels. He might be eating squirrel nuts for all I know. Baltimore, Philly, Kansas City, Buffalo all spend money to get the best players to succeed. Don't you think it would make sense to follow that? Okay, see, Mean Metal, you have to understand. I know you're a Steeler fan. Making sense in what Jerry Jones does, they don't go together. They're mutually exclusive. Okay? It would have made sense to get Derrick Henry. We don't do that. Especially when Derrick Henry might have given you a team discount because he wanted to be here. He could have looked at it and said, hey, I've got 2 houses there in Dallas. I ain't got to buy another one. There's no personal property tax. Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl champion. The fact that people are trying to minimize that makes him sound absolutely idiotic. I agree with you on that one. Mark, did Stephen Jones say something about the Rams? Look at the Rams. Oh, yeah, he did. He literally said after the Rams won the Super Bowl, well, we don't believe that the Rams are doing the way the Rams build a team is the way we believe in building a team. It's not sustainable. They won the Super Bowl, but, they're going to have financial problems in the future. The Rams were in the playoffs this year, and we weren't, right, bro? Right? So we do things like we couldn't sign CeeDee Lamb until the end of the offseason when the Eagles have both of their receivers locked up. They got their quarterback locked up. They got their left tackle locked up. And then had money to go get Saquon. The thing that the Eagles do that I have to admire, and the reason why they win, is they are constantly looking to improve the roster and complement the roster. And you're saying, what do you mean by that? You could look back a couple years ago. They had Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders was a really good back for him. Had a great season. He became a free agent, and they looked at it and they said, no, we're not going to pay. I think he ended up getting $24 million for 4 years from Jacksonville, I believe it was. They went out and they got DeAndre Swift. Swift was good for like 1,400 yards running and receiving. I'd been happy with what Swift did 2 seasons ago on the Cowboys this year. I would have been happy with that last year. That was better than what we got from Tony Pollard last year. What's up, Jeff Lee? And instead of them saying, okay, let's hold on to DeAndre Swift, that he's good, they said, no, we're going to let that guy go, and we're going to try and upgrade, and they go and get Saquon. Yeah. They drafted Devontae Smith. He could have been their number 1 receiver. And they could have said, we could just go ahead and put some other guys around him, right? They said, no, we need a better number 1 wide receiver. And they made a trade to get A.J. Brown. They are constantly trying to upgrade the roster, and they find ways to make it fit. How they made it fit? Well, Jalen Hurts' contract in 2029 has got like a $94 million cap hit. In which case the salary cap will be a lot higher by that time, and he's young enough that they'll probably restructure that, and then they got voidable years. They get creative with how to spend the money. And instead of us going out there, because these are things that don't make sense. These are the things that don't make sense. Let me pull it up. And I'll let you guys figure out the numbers. Okay, look at this. Okay, so let's pretend you are the GM. Okay, you are the GM here. What we're looking at here is Michael Gallup's numbers for his career, right? As a rookie, he started off slow, but came on the second half, had 507 yards, 15.4 yard average, right? Okay. That's not winning the Super Bowl, but that's not bad numbers coming out as a rookie. Then, his next year, he blew up. 1,107 yards, 16.8 yards per receptions, and 6 TDs. Clearly, you look at that and say, okay, this guy's a stud. He was a deep threat. You liked what you saw there. Then the next year, he comes back down to earth, 843 yards, right? 14.3 yards per reception. So he dropped down 2.5 yards per reception. He drops down 250 yards in production. Well, okay, that's not the end of the world. Just had a bad year. But then the next year, he starts getting injuries and drops to 445 yards in receptions and drops down to 12.7 yards per reception. So in case you don't understand, he dropped down almost 4 yards per completion. So if you are the GM and you now know that I need to get a contract for him or not, do you look at him going downhill for 2 years and getting injured? Oh, let me add this to you. Let me add this to it. He tore his ACL. And while he's recovering, you decide to sign him to a $52 million contract. You decided to sign a guy who was going downhill for 2 straight years, who tore his ACL, and then you sign him to a $52 million. Rock steady. We traded Wentz in return, got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, Cowboys. Well, here's what I had actually said earlier today, rock steady, is the Carson Wentz trade was the Herschel Walker light trade. That, it ended up being, it didn't work out. You took a $36 million dead money hit, but you got those picks that ended up getting you those players. So, yeah, in essence, you're right. That was the Herschel Walker trade that brought you all that talent. And instead, we still have ramifications of the mistake that they made on that contract there alone. As we go through and say, well, Dak's taking up all the money. Well, at least Dak was an MVP runner-up and should have been MVP, should have won the MVP with the money he got paid. We paid him $32 million and got 890 yards in receptions. Seriously. And $9 million of our cap this year is still going to Michael Gallup. So when you go through and you blame and say Dak took all the money, don't forget about the $32 million that we spent right there to get 890 yards worth of receptions. Remember that this year, $18 million is going to Terrence Steele. So the Cowboys have problems across the board, but they all start from the top. I'm going to say the Goon Squad that Leo talks about, those guys were focused on one thing, and that was beating the shit out of Pat Mahomes. They weren't worried about autograph signings and, podcasts, media events, how many jerseys they sold. the drama. They didn't have to wait until after training camp to pay their receivers. And oh, mind you, they got 2 receivers that are in the top 10 being paid. We're just not a well-run organization. Yes, Jordan Davis is a Super Bowl champion. Yes, Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl champion. Yes, Saquon Barkley is a Super Bowl champion. Yes, Jalen Carter is a Super Bowl champion. Yes, Dracula is a Super Bowl champion. Yes, Kellen Moore is a Super Bowl champion. Blah, 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 blah. Congratulations. Well, it makes you actually feel feel better that Cooper Rush played better than Pat Mahomes did against him. I'm just saying. It makes you actually feel good that at least Dak Prescott can hold his own against the Eagles. Yeah, time will tell for sure. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. But 1 month from today is the beginning of legal tampering. Will the Cowboys, first of all, sign any of their own guys? We got Jordan Lewis, who has been playing great the last couple of years in the secondary. You damn right I'm salty, Logan Motorsports. Why? Why wouldn't I? Are you saying that if that had been the Cowboys, you wouldn't be salty right now? Why is Holmes not getting all the blame? Hawks fan, because he's not Dak Prescott. That, and he's won a couple already, so he gets a pass. Eagles hit their stride at the end, though. Leo, I have one question for you. He's probably said, how can he get on some of that weed? Probably. We'll see next year. Dak owns the Eagles in the regular season. Well, the Eagles, they're going to have some problems. Here's part of the reason why it's so hard to repeat. I know Leo says they're going to. Andy Hart, I feel your pain last night, Mark. Terrible Chiefs performance. Eagles on them like a rash, but now got a big target on their back. Yeah, you're right about that, Andy. A big target, and also people are going to be looking to say, can I pick off some of those players that the Eagles have? Can I get some of those coaches? Well, Kellen Moore's loss matter. But if I were a offensive coordinator, I think I'd want to go to the Eagles right now with all the talent that they have there. The Hurts and Dak debate is over. Allen over Woodson, Hall of Fame. Be honest, Woody got robbed. Mark, I'll say it. If Dak has weapons, no one will stop him. I'd have to agree with you on that one. I would love to, don't get me wrong. Jalen Hurts had a great game. Great game. Not going to take that away from him. But he had some people that were there. He had guys getting open. He had time to throw the football. He had a defense that literally, they didn't have to score but, 15 points to win the game? He didn't have to get into a track meet to try and outscore Kansas City. Those things matter. Timmy Smith for the Washington Redskins broke a rushing record in the Super Bowl. Oh, my God. That was a Momo. That was the craziest thing ever. He had, 204 yards? And he was not a starter. In fact, they were afraid to tell him that he was going to start because they thought he'd throw up all over himself. And then he came back the next year thinking that he was king shit, and he went back to being Timmy Smith and soon to be out of the league. Do I think the Eagles will have a Super Bowl hangover next year, in your opinion? I think it's possible, Logan. But, generally speaking, most teams do. You're right. Mahomes had weapons too, and he turned the ball over. True, but Mahomes, they went after him. They pounded him into submission. He didn't have a chance. If Dak gets shout out to Hawks fan. If Dak gets a running game, he would be deadly in the play action. Oh my God, you ain't lying, Hawks fan. If we had Derrick Henry, that would have made all the difference in the world. Or if we had a Saquon, but we'll see if the Cowboys do anything. But also too, you still need an offensive line, and our offensive line is still quite shaky. We don't know if we're going to have Zach Martin is going to come back, and if he's spent or not. Terrence Steele is still a liability in pass protection. Tyler Guyton, oh boy, Tyler Guyton's rookie year was not good. Yeah, remember the Lions? They had a hell of a lot of injury. Calvin Brown, please tell me all the weapons that Dak Prescott had. No, I mean, seriously. Seriously, Calvin Brown, tell me all the weapons that Dak Prescott had that are as good as the Eagles. Seriously. Let's do this. So, let's do this, okay? We'll play a little game. All right. The roster, let's see. All right, so in 2023, Dak Prescott had CeeDee Lamb. I can say CeeDee Lamb could probably start on almost any team in the NFL. Incredible weapon. That's a great weapon. Then I'm going to go through. This is 2023. Your running back was Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, 1,005-yard running back. Was that elite running? At 4 yards a carry? Was Tony Pollard as your lead back an elite weapon without Zeke? Okay. Your tight end, Jake Ferguson, who did have a decent year. That was his best year. He had 761 yards. Is he as good as Dallas Goedert, Jason Kelsey, George Kittle? Is he considered elite? Okay. Brandon Cooks. This is 23's roster. Because I keep hearing that Dak had all these elite weapons. Brandon Cooks. Do we still think Brandon Cooks is elite? He had 657 yards in 23 for the Cowboys. We had Michael Gallup on one leg. Does any of those guys, other than CeeDee Lamb, compare to what the Eagles had? Jake Ferguson versus Dallas Goedert. Devontae Smith versus Brandon Cooks. Tony Pollard as an inside running back, Saquon Barkley. Oh, and the Dallas Cowboys offensive line versus the Eagles. Let's do this a little bit. We'll go back one more year here, because I keep hearing this thing about we got all these elite weapons. All these elite weapons. Okay? So in 22, let's look at our weapons, shall we? CeeDee Lamb, of course. Take him over anybody. Okay? We had Tony Pollard. Now, Tony Pollard, again, 1,000-yard rusher. Okay? The year before, 5.2. And he was used more as like a receiving running back. And we had Zeke. Now, I will say the combination of the two of them did get us 1,900 yards rushing. But I don't know that you looked at the combination of them and said that that was elite running game. I don't think that. But then again, we had Dalton Schultz, 577 yards. Was Dalton Schultz considered elite? Like a Kelsey, a Dallas Goedert, any of the, great tight ends? I don't think so. You had Noah Brown basically as your number 2 receiver, and you had Michael Gallup who came back off an ACL. Are we literally trying to say that's elite talent? Are we literally trying to say that the last 2 years there, that's comparable to what the Eagles are putting out on the field? Are y'all being serious on that? Let's go back another year. That one you could argue, that would be the one that maybe you could argue in 2021. Because I think you still had Amari Cooper then. You had Zeke, 4.2 yards, 1,000-yard rusher. Zeke was already spent by then. CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, who had 700 yards, and you had Amari Cooper. So this would probably be the best offensive weapons. You had a not completely spent Zeke. You had a Tony Pollard who was a gadget guy. You did have Amari Cooper, and you had CeeDee Lamb as a rookie. You still had Dalton Schultz, and you had Cedric Wilson as your number 3 receiver, and you had Michael Gallup, who was not the same guy, and Noah Brown. So do you still, with that roster, do you still equate those weapons, CeeDee Lamb as a rookie, Amari Cooper, Zeke, to what the Eagles have, and Dalton Schultz? I don't. Not even close. Not with that offensive line that they got. That is an elite talent. Yes, DC, that's elite talent? Bro, that's not elite talent. When did Dez have when the Cowboys had Dez, 2017 was his last year with Dak. But the last 2 years, 2016 and 2017, those last 2 years, although Dez had his highest yards per reception with Dak Prescott, higher than with Tony Romo, but he was at the point where he kept having a lot of injuries. His body kept breaking down and failing him. So 2016 and 2017. 2016, that was probably the best team that they had. Zeke rushed for 1,500 yards. And they went toe for toe against Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. Dak had 304 yards, 3 TDs. Zeke had 125 yards. We took the lead, and unfortunately, our defense couldn't stop Aaron Rodgers from going down with 50 seconds left to win the game. So when Dak had the talent, we went toe for toe. Since that time, after 2017 is when Tyron Smith started breaking down. 2018 is when we had Hillian Bars with Travis Frederick. And after 2017, the offensive line was never the same. We had one good year of the offensive line, and that was 2023. Other than that, we weren't anywhere close to being a great offensive line. So I don't look at what my team has put on the field, and that's not to say that I'm mad. I'm happy for the Eagles, but with Stephen Jones's whole thing of if you have to go into free agency, it's because you messed up in the draft, bro. Ain't nobody winning the Super Bowl solely by the draft. You have to go in free agency because nobody drafts perfect, and I can look and say, Mozzie Smith, Schoonmaker, Tyler Guyton, Marshawn Nealon, your top 4 picks in the last 2 years have not done much to help you do anything. That was our year with DeMarco Murray, Romo, Dez. Oh, man. Now, see, again, that's another one. With DeMarco Murray getting 1,800 yards and Tony Romo only had like 3,600 yards passing, But he was spot on because they had a complete team. And that's what the Eagles have right now, complete team. Twenty nineteen. 2019, I think we had Amari Cooper. Hold on, wait a minute. 2019. Let me go back on that one. We won the division, I think, then. No, 2019. 2019, we were 8-8, bro. We were 8-8. What are you talking about? And in fact, 2018, we didn't have any weapons until we traded for Amari Cooper. That was the season that we had our wide receiving core was so bad. We started out 3-5, and we came back and we won the division and made it to the playoffs. So I don't know how you're talking about we had better weapons there, Drew. We got Amari Cooper in the middle of the season. In 2018, we were 10-6. We started out 3-5. We got Amari Cooper, and he played 9 games for us and got 725 yards. The other weapons we had Zeke, who did have 1,400 yards. We had Michael Gallup, who had 507 yards his rookie year. We had Measly Beasley, and we had Blake Jarwin as our starting tight end. Uh, 2019, bro, we were 8-8. I think you got it wrong there, bro. 2019, I'm looking at it right now. We had Zeke, who had 1,300 yards. We had Amari Cooper. We had Michael Gallup. We had Randall Cobb. Was that 8-8? Yeah, we were 8-8. And Dak had 4,900 yards. Oh, our defense sucked. Okay. Drew, our defense was ass. Yeah, Dak had almost 5,000 yards. He came up 1 yard short of Romo's record, had 30 TDs. And our defense, our defense sucked. So that's Dak's fault, Drew? That's Dak's fault that the defense sucked ass? Okay. All right. Momo, I'm not bragging. I'm trying to figure out why you're talking like my quarterback didn't belt your ass. Okay. So we got Eagle and Washington on crime against each other. This is how low it is for me here on my channel. I literally have Okay, Drew, whatever you say. Fine. Whatever you say, Drew. Mark, me and Leslie got a new dog yesterday. She's cute. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad to hear that, Tyler Joyce. You got something to give you joy. Jason Garrett and Jerry are the reason. Yeah, I can believe that. Shit happens. Because you know what, Drew? I can say that you had a better team than Tampa Bay last year, but you lost to them, didn't you? I can say that happened twice to you. How about that? Shit happens. The reason the Cowboys are not winning is because the front office, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and not having a good head coach and GM. Well, that's a good way to put it. All right. We did go. You're right. Walker Wade. We did. We've always played traditionally well against the Eagles till this year. So I've done my penance now. I've been in here suffering with you mother humpers. Mark, I would not trade Micah. He's a diamond in the rough. I don't know. He's a diamond. I don't know if that he's in the rough. Shit. You got over 50 sacks in his first 4 years. I don't know that that's rough. But listen, I can't take this anymore. I got to get out of here, man. Y'all fools that want to beat a man while he's down, man. I appreciate all the real fans that have been in here and living and dying with the Dallas Cowboys like I have. There's got to be some better. We got nowhere to go but up. And maybe that'll happen. I don't know. I'm beginning to give up hope. In the meantime, I got to get out of here.
Can't stand it anymore. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get
Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're one on the phone. Everything's going to be all right. Please.
Sister, please, I'll handle this.